Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to DTR Division 5. We're here for the final round, round 12 at Brazil, and we've got a 12-man grid for you. 13-man grid. Oh, someone snuck in at the end. So we've got a 13-man grid to finish off the season. Hopefully we're going to see some good, hard but fair racing today, because everything in this championship is pretty much signed and delivered. Racing Ryan has won the championship. He's currently on 216 points and has thoroughly deserved his victory. He's dominated most of the races that I was in, or that I've watched. And I made a bet actually today that Jens would be the first out of the pit. And it is him. I'll keep talking about the championship in a second as we just jump on board with Jens. So, Racing Ryan wins the championship. Along the way, he picked up 4 wins, 2 second places and 1 third place, so absolutely deserves his win. Nellboy pushed him all the way to the end. He managed to pick up 2 wins along the way. I think his first 2 of his DTR career, so congratulations for a good season to you. Picked up 2 second places, a third place. Did have a couple of DNFs, which probably ended up costing him in the end. And Cass is in 3rd place, and I don't think he can be overtaken. He picked up 2 wins, and one of those I remember being a very good win in Austria. Picked up 2 second places, and he sits in 3rd on 117 points. Jens in 4th. I think he'll be disappointed a little bit with his season. He was showing so much progress at the start, and I remember his season getting off to a really, really bad start after qualifying in pole in Australia, and as he got off the line, got put in the wall. First bit of commentary on live racing in Div 5. But we'll jump on board with Jens. We'll take you around the lap in Brazil. He's just coming up to complete Sector 1, round turns 4 and 5. We'll head up this narrow part of the track, which is 2 fast right-handers. And then you get a 90-degree right-hander, get the car slowed down. And then we finish up by going through some S-bends. With a nice long left-hander which ends the sector. And you've got, well, one more main corner to deal with before you get onto the not quite so straight pit straight. And Jens is going to put his first time up on the board of the night. It's going to set the standard for everyone else to follow. And he starts off with a 1:10. I feel that will get beaten. Tom Putty does beat it immediately, and Wardy beats that. So Tom Putty puts in a 109.6. Wardy puts in a 109.6. Jordan puts a 109.3 in. And then Rayleigh gets a 109.7 in. And Racing Ryan, the championship winner, puts it on pole currently on at a 108.6. So nearly a second quicker than his rivals to this point. I think we'll see Racing Ryan get promoted up a couple of divisions next year. Thoroughly deserves it. As Skipper, mentioned Skipper's just put a 109.7 in. And just a huge thank you to him this year. He's been reserving in this league. And to be fair, hasn't looked out of place. I think he should be in this league. He's done a very good job. As Brandon comes over the line and puts in a 109.1. Let's try and actually catch some people coming across the line here because keep missing it. As Jens, he's unvalidated, so he's not going to put another lap in. Is this Cav coming round? He's on an out lap. Let's join Cav, shall we? Where's he in the championship? He is 15th. Can he get into the top 10? He can with a good result. What does he need? To get into the top 10, he needs to get a 14-point swing on Benny Bruno, who's not here tonight. Guncher, I don't think he's here tonight, so that could happen. Wardy is here tonight. Tom Putty's here tonight, and little Mikey is... Oh, he is here tonight, yeah. So he could end up in the top 10, so we'll keep an eye on him tonight. as he makes his way around turn 2 and then 3 and onto this first DRS straight. You can see his wing opening up, and then you have to get the car slowed down. Takes a nice chunk of apex. Got to be careful on the exit of that turn 4. If you start accelerating too hard on that corner, your back end will go. Really got to get the car slowed down, which he does nicely, and carry as much speed through as you can. Got to be careful on the throttle on the exit. He's been really neat so far, and again got to be neat on this exit. There are some risky corners around here if you get too trigger happy on the throttle. He puts in a purple second sector, so could we see a pole lap here from Cav? Come around to the last bit of the pit straight, try and cut as much of that corner off as you can. Take the shortest line to the line, and he puts it in second. Great lap, 1:08.9. So haven't seen him up there really in qualifying throughout the season, but has done a good job there. Let's jump on board with Nelboy, who is second place in the championship, and I don't think he can get dislodged. He's put in a purple first sector. He's going to want to sign off with a win, and that'll be his third win of his DTR career and of the season. So he's had a quality season. It'd be great to see him up on that podium again. Gets the car rotated nicely, and you can go flat out round here. Oh, and you could just see his front end sort of clipped in on him a little bit, and it sent the rear flying. That's unfortunate. It was a good lap. Little Mikey, we haven't seen too much of him this season. The bits I can remember are him spinning under safety car after making some good comeback drives, but the one highlight actually I do remember of him was his podium back in Australia in round 1. And back in that point, I thought he was going to have a cracking season. Wasn't meant to be this year, but he will fight back and come back stronger next year, that's for sure. As he heads down the first straight, complete sector 1, sweeps his way around turn 4, nice wide line, using all the track, and you just got to throw the car in here, and you can take a little bit more curve there if you dare, and you can see uses all the track, just about keeps it within the limits. Got to straighten the wheel up out of that exit to make sure you don't lose the back end. Just missed the apex slightly. I think Jordan has just put his McLaren on in second place. He's overtaken Cav with a 1:08.9. As we see now, Mikey just coming round onto the pit straight, and we'll see what his first time of the day is. Nelboy's gone back in the pits, and Mikey sets a very quick time, 1:08.9. Puts him up into 4th. Dopey Man didn't see him put his time in. He's on a 1:09. Racing Ryan improves on his time with a 1:08.3. Don't think I've mentioned the constructors at this stage. McLaren have won the constructors because Nelboy is on his own tonight, so those McLarens cannot be caught. So again, Ryan is going to be a double champion, so congratulations. As Hayward puts it in second with a 1:08.5, so he's been very good in qualifying this year. I think he missed the first couple of races from memory, but just hasn't had the luck of the races really. Just seems to get caught up in a bit of gets caught up in some mess sometimes, but he's definitely got the ability. As Relia, I think I saw a purple first sector from him. He's got stronger and stronger as the season's gone on, so I'd like to see him get a podium tonight. That'd be good to see. Flat out round this left-hander, and the last time you really have to slow the car down before you get back to the pit lane, and he's putting a purple second sector. Come on, Relia, can you put it on pole? This will be for the first time this year. and it will signify the progress he's made. Can he do it? 108.35. Oh, it's a thousandth of a second off. That's a great lap from Relliot. See if he can hold it. We've got a Red Bull of Dopey Man coming across the line now. Not going to be enough for pole, but it is a 108.7, so that gets him up into 4th place. Who else have we got out? Brandon. He's a 10th up on his time. Going to need a bit more than that to break into the top 3. Still a 10th up. As he makes his way now. To the pit straight. And he's about to take the line. It's not enough for pole. It is an improvement though. It's a 108.8 and that puts him in 5th. So we're seeing that the cars get slowly quicker. Have we got Skipper out on a hot lap? We have. And he is a 10th up on his time so far. Just finishing sector 1. Moving his way through sector 2 now. And as I mentioned earlier, he's been a brilliant reserve for us in Division 5. Not looked out of place at all, really. He's got great racecraft. Keeps it on track. And it's just a nuisance, really. He hangs around, he waits for the mistake, and he capitalises on it. Just silently goes about his business, but it's been great to have you here, Skipper. And you've turned your ERS off and you're going in the pits. Well, you're not going in the pits, but you've got your ERS on. Don't know if you've meant to do that. Not sure, but you've also run a bit wide. Oh, and as I was saying how consistent you were, you go and spin it. Right, who else is on a lap? Jens at the back. He hasn't been able to improve since we were on board with him earlier, so let's stick with him now and see what he can do. He's definitely got 1 lap pace as Jens. I think I said earlier in the season, he's running pretty much no assists, I think. He definitely doesn't run ABS. Like, if you jump on board with him, you can see that his tyres do actually lock up if he gets too hot on the throttle. On the brake, sorry, and the braking. Oh, as he loses it, and I mean, that's a great 360. You pulled that off. But I wonder if his setup just isn't quite right. We'll let him get in the pits and come back out. But if it is his setup, then it's going to be part firme and probably lights out for Jens for a season. But let's hope he can fix it anyway. As we jump on board with Hayward, he looked like he was a 10th up after sector 1. Just gets a bit of oversteer as he was coming round up onto that tiny bit of straight. But he fetched the car back up and he's getting on with it. He's just about to complete sector 2 as he sweeps around this left-hander now. Cars in front of him, but they seem to be getting out of the way. Again, it carries nice speed through that. Some good momentum through that last corner. When I say last corner, this isn't really a straight, is it? But I'd say they're bends rather than corners. But anyway, Hayward comes across the line and he puts it on pole, 108.1. So, Race and Ryan with 2 attempts to find. We've got quite a few people now in the pit. I think Wardy looks like he's on a push lap. Let's jump on board with him. People have been giving him a bit of stick in the chat today, saying that he's in a bit of trouble if he don't score any points today based on the number of drivers we've got here, but looking like a clean first sector. Snell Boy comes out of the pit, so we'll jump on with him in a minute. This looks really smooth so far. Gets a little bit wide there, I think just trying to carry too much speed. But otherwise he's looked very in control of this car. He's flat out around that left hander, you can see, just squeezing everything out of the track limits he can. And this looks like a really clean lap to me. He hasn't put a purple sector in though. But I think this is going to be a good lap, just from the look of it. Comes over the line, it's a 108.9, so he makes 2/10 improvement, he's up to 7th. I think we've got Nell Boys about to come across the line. I think this is going to be to start his what is probably going to be his final lap. He could get a second run in, but this is the one he wants to set. His tyres are at their freshest at this moment in time. So stick on board with Nellboy. He's in 6th currently. He's got 7 tenths to make up if he's going to take pole. And generally Nell is, I mean, he's good at qualifying, but he's just a good tactician in the race. And he's got pace as well, so I'm not surprised to see him up there in that championship battle this year. But anyway, coming round into the middle part of sector 2. And again, it's all about carrying as much speed around here as you can, and it looks like he's had good control over the car here. Just about clips the apex, and it'll be flat out around this left-hander. Just don't lose the front of your car like you did earlier. That's good work, and then just clips that apex. If you do hit that apex, it can spit you out, so that was a good clean turn there. And he's going to cut as much of this part of the track off as possible, run down the wall and see what he can put in. It's a 108.2, puts him in 2nd, much better lap than Nellboy, and he's putting himself right amongst it. So we've got a Ferrari coming over the line next. It's going to be Mikey. Haven't got an indication of what his lap is like to this point. The cameras are not helping me. It's a 108.9, so doesn't, I think he improves, but doesn't really improve his place. The skipper now has retired. I think we've now got Reliot coming over the line, and I think this will be to start a lap. So let's have a watch of Reliot as he comes around onto his final lap. And that looks neat entirely through turns 1 and 2, and don't get me wrong, that sequence of corners is not easy. If you get the first corner wrong, the second corner is a nightmare, as he's currently a 10th up on his time, so not improved. He's dropped down to 4th, but with a mighty lap time, got to be happy. And he's 4 tenths away from Dopey Man as he invalidates. So Dopey Man was just behind him on track. Let's jump on board with him. I think Reliot will have time to get round and have another crack at it, as I think little Mikey is round in that final sector. Dopey Man, who looked like he was going to be a title challenger at one point early on in the season, just sort of dropped off a bit, didn't have the best of luck. There was a few races where he got taken off the road from memory. I think it was Spain. Just couldn't quite recover his championship hopes, but again, a very solid driver. And I don't think this is going to be enough for pole. It's a 108.6. He's in 5th. We've got a Mercedes coming up behind. Is it Brandon with a 108.8? So he improves, but doesn't move up a position. We've got a McLaren coming round. Jordan to put in his last lap. So Ryan and Nellboy have finished. So Haywood is probably going to get pole unless Jordan can dislodge him here. And it's not quick enough. He will stay in 9th. Mikey seems to have retired, but that's it. And I think Haywood is the last man out on track. Is he going to try and improve? No, he's slowing down. So that is your order for this final Division 5 race. We've got Haywood on pole, Nellboy in 2nd, and Racing Ryan in 3rd. I don't think that is a surprise to anyone. I think it's been those 3 pretty much all year in qualifying. We've got Reliot, who's done a very good job. He's in 4th, and he actually did that lap on his 2nd round, so there's probably a little bit more pace left in him yet. As Dopey Man finds himself 3 tenths back, so Reliot will be fancying getting into a fight with those top 3. That'd be great to see. And Dopey Man, again, he's a great craftsman. He will be in there trying to sniff for that victory, and Brandon, who was the favourite at the start of the season, didn't happen for him. A lot of the strategy calls he made just didn't help him out. He starts here in 6th tonight. Cav has had a pretty good season. He'll be looking to try and break into the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship, but really has to win here today to make that happen. Wardy is just behind him, and I'll finish off the grid once we can see the list again any second. Sorry about that. Just putting myself in a party, so all the drivers probably been able to hear me through all of that. So I do apologise if you have. But I've just jumped in a party, so they don't have to listen to me while they're driving. Looks like it's going to be a dry race. I'm sure that will please everyone. As they line up for the formation lap, we'll go through the grid because I didn't see it while I was sorting out the party. So Hayward on pole, Nelboy in second, Racing Ryan in third, no surprises of that top three. Relliot in fourth, who's looking to finish the season strong. He's been proven race by race. It's great to see him up there as the strategies come up down the bottom. We've got Dopey Man in fifth, who is back on the grid. Did he not drive off? Not sure. Brandon in sixth, Cav in seventh, Wardy in eighth, Jordan, one of the Constructors champions today, in ninth, Little Mikey in 10th. Tom Putty, he's had a good year. I think his best opportunity came in Spain, but the strategy just didn't quite pay off for him. So he's done a lot of reserving this year as well, so great servant to DTR. And best of luck for your race tonight. Skipper, reserve in this league, talked a bit about him tonight already. See what he can do from 12th place. And then Jens, we've got a quick car at the back of the field. Looked like he was struggling with his setup. I'm sure we'll hear a bit more about it later, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him make his way through the field. So let's do a quick tyre check if I get some time. We're all on mediums, apart from Wardy and Lil Mikey, who have decided to go for the alternate strategy on the hards. So see how that unfolds as the race begins. They're starting to line back up on the grid. Hayward will be sitting there for what will feel like a lifetime. His tyres will be going cold. This camera angle is awful. I can't see the lights, so we'll jump on board with Hayward and we'll flip back off as soon as the lights go out. But best of luck to all the drivers tonight. The final race of Division 5, round 12 here at Brazil. As the lights go on, we're at 5 lights, and away we go for the final time in Division 5. We've got Hayward, who's trying to come over to cover off Nelboy, who gets a great start, and Ryan gets round the outside of him. So let's look at it from the front. We've got Ryan, who's taken the lead. Dopey Man, who's made his way up into third place and was side by side with Hayward. And Hayward looks like he gets a bit sideways, but he's collected it back up. Cav is up into fifth. So Relliot's dropped down a few places in sixth, and Wardy in seventh. Brandon's dropped a couple of places to eighth. Jordan maintains his place in ninth, and Jens already up 3 places into 10th. We've got Tom Putty in 11th, Little Mikey, who's dropped down to 12th, and then Skipper has dropped down to the back of the field. And we've got Brandon, who seems to be in a tussle with Jordan. He's down in 9th now, as Jordan taps... Who was it? Was it Jens, or was it... It was Wardy, I think. He tapped the back of Wardy, and it unsettled his car and, well, pushed him off the track. And we've now only got Skipper behind him. So I wonder if Skipper got caught up in something early on, because he's dropped 10 seconds back to the field. So Cav looks like he's the closest man on track to anyone, although it doesn't seem to be spreading out too much. I mean, Ryan seems to be getting a bit of a gap out in front, and Dopey Man has pulled out a gap to, or Nelboy, sorry, has pulled out a gap to Dopey Man, as we're seeing Hayward starting to challenge Dopey Man for that third place and trying to recover what was seemingly a bad start. It didn't look bad from the line, as Dopey Man does a really good job of defending there. A little bit of a love tap, and Hayward again, you can just see the front end of that car is really struggling, and Redditt's trying to come back at him. He's going to have some nice overspeed, but don't think it's going to be enough to make an attack down into turn 4. And Redditt will tuck him behind. You can see him just trying to get out the dirty air of Hayward, as Hayward is now back on the back of Dopey Man. So Hayward feels like he's getting slowed down a bit here by Dopey Man, but Dopey Man is not giving him an easy route through. And I could be wrong when I say this, but I'm sure these two at one point were teammates. It might have been Brandon Dopey Man, or I could just be completely wrong, but I think what I'm trying to say here is this fight's not going to... Dopey Man's not going to let him through easily. So, Dopey Man with the advantage here. He's already dropped 2 seconds back from Nellboy, so the two championship leaders are going to get into a fight as Nellboy puts in the fastest lap of the race. Two championship leaders, as they have done all season really, have detached themselves from the field. And I think this has been the story really of Hayward's season, that he qualifies so well, and as the start of the race comes, just seems to fade off, either because of a mistake a bit later on in the race, or just doesn't start well. If he can sort that out, he's got absolutely every chance of winning, consistently next year. So we'll see if he comes back and does a bit of work on that. But Dopey Man is not an easy man to pass. He's making it awkward for Hayward. He's just putting his car in the right places at the right time, as we can see that Brandon is trying to put some pressure on Wardy. We've got a bit of a train. Jens has made his way up into 8th already, so that's a gain of 5 places. I make that. Jordan, I think he had a spin early on, is started to make his way back up through the field, as Jens has spun. So all that progress he's made has now been cancelled out. So Jordan is looking very close to the back of Tom Putty here. And is he going to flick it to the inside? He is. Surprised Tom didn't try to cover the inside off there, but Jordan's through. Tom will tuck in, and I don't think he'll come back at him. No, he won't. So Jordan's through. He's in 8th. He's got Brandon next, a bit further down the road, who is currently hunted down. But we've got Hayward, who's trying to make a move on Dopey Man, and Dopey Man again is just putting his car in the right place at the right time, as Hayward puts in a purple first sector. I think they've got DRS now, which has probably helped pulling him along, and you can see his teammate in the background is getting close to Wardy. So if Hayward doesn't make a move into this corner, let's flick to Brandon, because this is a good overtaking spot. He can't make it happen either. So the two Mercedes are the ones looking the most threatening at the minute, and they're fighting for 3rd and 6th place respectively. About 4 tenths of difference, and Nellboy just keeping Ryan within an arm's length, and Brandon has spun it onto, well, I'm going to call it the last corner. It's not really the last corner, but as Hayward now has got past Dopey Man, let's get away from his teammate and watch the overtake. It's happened down on the pit straight, as Dopey Man now tries to carry some momentum around the corner, but he's not going to get back at him. And I'm wondering if Reliot is now going to try and attach himself to the back of Dopey Man, but again, you can see he's got to be very, very careful about making any sort of overtake. You can see that Dopey Man has got some very good defence on him. So it would be great to see Reliot making a podium tonight. It's going to be hard work to do it, but yeah, he's looked like he's had the pace today. Might just have taken a bit too much of that curb. I wonder if he got a warning for that. It looked pretty close. But he's within 5 tenths of Dopey Man, and I think he's the closest man on track. And we saw Brandon spin. That's put him down into 10th, and Jens Hoffer's on the back of him and closing him down quite rapidly, to be honest. So let's just keep an eye on these gaps and try not to miss any overtakes, as it looks like Reliot is struggling a little bit more in a straight line. You can see the Delta just sort of pushing its way out a little bit. So yeah, Reliot a little bit slower in a straight line. So let's see if Jens can get hold of Brandon, because Jens has been quick. He did go for a spin on the last lap, which is why he's back down in 11th. He got off to a flyer and was in 8th. And Tom Putty is the first person to pick up a 3-second time penalty. And that'll be due to track limits. As Jens, just again, you can see he's just struggling with that setup, I think. It's not quite balanced for him. He keeps losing the front end. Oh, and he just runs a bit deep. But does well to keep it on track. Didn't lose too much momentum. And he's within half a second. Let's just jump up with Lil Mikey. He's on the back of Tom Putty and must be putting pressure on Tom Putty because we saw him literally get a 3-second time penalty just a couple of moments ago. So Mikey's putting the pressure on, forcing him into some mistakes. Let's see if he can get round him. As Nellboy puts in the fastest lap of the race on a 1:11, and he's within 4/10 of Ryan now. So let's just keep an eye on that gap and make sure it doesn't close up. And if it does, we will flick over to him. But for now, we'll stick with Mikey, who's within 4/10, 2/10 now, getting ever closer, right on the back of Tom Putty. And just didn't get the best of turn 1 and 2. Just dropped him back and means that he's not going to be close enough to make a move, but seems to have really good control over the car at the minute. His teammate looks like he's closing in on Dopey Man. This battle's been going on for a little while now, but like as I said before, Dopey Man got some great defence on him, and at this moment in time it doesn't look like Reliot's can find a way through. So just while we wait for one of these gaps to close up, let's just see what's happened with the tyre choices. So things seem to be working out for Wardy here. He's the guy on the hard tyres. He's up into 6th place. If he can make that strategy work, it's going to help him later in the race. His tyres will be the softer compound. As Reliot, again, I think he's just struggling in a straight line. I think his setup must be more suited to the corners. He drops to a second gap down the straights, and we'll probably see him reel him in as he comes through sector 2. But let's go back to Mikey. He's within 4/10 of Tom still. See if he can make any gains on Tom. I'm not sure what his setup is, so we'll have a look at him down the straights and see if that's how Tom's defending. But it's within 2/10. This is a good overtaking spot up here, but I just think Mikey's just a tad too far back. He is. And Nellboy, we saw, he got quite close to Ryan at one point. He's now dropped back to 7/10. So again, I think he's maintaining that gap. I think if we went and looked at his car, I'd assume that he's managing his airs quite nicely. Ryan tends to like to sort of dump it all down on defence, as again, Nellboy is pretty close, so if Mikey doesn't get close down here, we'll jump on board with Nell for a bit and see how close he can get. And I don't think Mikey's going to be close enough, so let's have a look at Nellboy for a bit. As Tom Putty actually comes into the pits, surprisingly, which lets Mikey through in the end. So good choice to come up front. Half a second gap. I don't really like doing this because I don't want the drivers to see it, but as there's nothing on it, let's have a quick look at the telemetry. So Nellboy is down at 25% airs, and Ryan's actually harvesting it a little bit better, to be fair. So Nellboy's having to push to keep up. So Haywood looks like he's now got a penalty. I didn't see that come up. I'm assuming it's a track limits penalty. But he's made his way back up into 3rd after getting that overtake done on Nellboy pretty early. Did I say Nellboy? I meant Dopey Man if I did. So Jens looks ever closer to Brandon, but is that Jens off again? Oh, Jens. So unfortunate. Jens has had the pace all season, but that's been his problem. And I think, to be fair to him, he's been brave. He's turned off the assists. It will make him a better driver in future. He's just going through a period now where he's just got to get used to it. And I don't think his setup has helped him, as Reliot chucks in a little fake dive. trying to get in Dopey Man's head, but we know Dopey Man is a little bit more switched on than that. I don't think Reliot's going to spook him, but this is a good place to overtake. But Reliot decides to get out the throttle. He's going to wait for a better opportunity, but I think that is a corner that you can catch people napping, and if you chuck it down the inside there, there's just no response. As yes, you'll be on the outside for the next corner, but it brings you back onto the inside for the corner that follows it. So it's a great little spot to overtake. But Reliot looks like he's got the bit between his teeth, and Dopey Man might just be struggling on those tyres a little bit. He ran a little bit wide through the exit of that corner. Reliot's half a second back, and he's making some small gains. I think, and Jens Hoffenheim picks up 3-second penalty. I think Dopey Man's car is probably a little bit quicker in a straight line, because Reliot had the DRS there and didn't make huge inroads, but he's within 3/10 now, and surely this is it. Is he close enough? He's pulling in close. He looks for the inside, but he just bails out at the last second. Oh, I think he could have. But he wants to finish as high as he possibly can. He's within 2/10, and again, this is an opportunity up here. Don't think he's close enough to take it. He's not. Okay, so must be thinking now, if I can just stay within 3/10, he's going to want to do it on the straight. So he's got 2 long DRS straights to reel him in a bit. And I think he just wants to make sure it's a safe overtake. Dopey Man will respect him. He will give him room. He is a good clean fighter, as Reliot looks like he gets a bit wide, but it's given him a nice angle for that final corner, as Dopey Man actually gets a really good drive out of it. So I don't know if Reliot's going to be close enough. He might just be able to reel it in a little bit, but again, got to be clean through turn 1 and 2 to carry momentum down onto the straight. You can see Dopey Man takes a nice wide line to try and make sure that he gets good straight line speed down here, and I don't think Reliot, he's going to gain on him. He's not going to be close enough. He was closer on the last lap, and I do think maybe could have taken the opportunity last lap, but fair enough. This is a long race. Doesn't all have to be done now. Might fancy himself to do it in a clever little pit stop strategy, maybe. As the field are pretty spread out now, so we will stick with this battle, because other than Nellboy, it's the closest battle on track. He seems to be a little bit further back this time, and is actually dropping. I wonder if he didn't quite get the cleanest of exits, which has hindered him all the way down the straight, but he still gets the DRS. He's within 7/10. I don't think this is going to, we've seen him closer. It's not going to be close enough for him to make a move into turn 4, but he will be back on the gearbox. And really, it's just got to try and keep it neat and tidy. You can see that Dopey Man every now and then just runs a little bit wide on some of the corners, which is giving him an opportunity just to squeeze that gap. So you can see he's back within 4/10, and again, look, you just see Reliot is taking nice tight lines through these corners. He's just able to hit these apexes so much cleaner, and I wonder if that's just because he's running a little bit more downforce. He's able to trust the car to get into the apex, and again, look, you just see Dopey Man's a little bit wider. But he's gaining it all back in straight line speed, but he's within 6/10 Reliot now. So by the end of this race, that could be 4/10. That's the closest we will have seen him, and he could even be 3/10. It is 3/10. So right on the gearbox now. Get a good exit here, Reliot, and you could find yourself up into P4. But again, it looks like Dopey Man is just getting a great exit, and I don't think Reliot's quite going to have the slingshot to get round him. He's not. Just, again, now concentrate on keeping it neat, keeping as close to the car in front as you can. And I think Reliot's doing a very good job to save up some Mers here. and will probably put an attack in a little bit later. Again, he knows he's a bit cleaner through these sections. Dopey Man either doesn't have the grip, or he's just saving a bit of tyre. Dopey Man makes a big mistake there, and this is the closest we've seen Reliot. It just feels like he has to get out the throttle a little bit, and I wonder if Dopey Man's just starting to struggle on these tyres, and Reliot is now really trying to push hard. And this is it. He's got his ERS on. He's got his DRS open, and you can see the straight line speed of Dopey Man, who tries to defend that inside line, but he's left it a little bit late. Reliot is running it up the inside, and I think he's going to get the line, but Dopey Man is going to try and hang it round the outside, and he does very well. But now that means Reliot, oh, he's just had to get out the throttle, but he's in behind him. He's on his gearbox. He's going to have DRS open. Is he going to turn his ERS on? He's not, but he has rinsed Dopey Man's ERS, and again just has a tiny little look, but thinks better of chucking it down the inside. I think that red light on the back of Dopey Man's car will have filled Reliot with joy. That's what he wanted to see, because that means that Dopey Man has been defending hard. If he can just spend a bit of time maybe charging that battery back up a bit, Reliot will drain it and try to crack on. So again, we're going to come back down to this pit straight. Really important to get a good exit out of here. So it looks like Dopey Man has got a really good exit. You can see he's just draining that ERS again. His light is flashing. Reliot hasn't been using, so that's how he managed to pull ahead. But if he knows that Dopey Man's draining that battery, Reliot will be dumping it at some point, and it will probably become a lot easier than it has been for the last few laps. But Nellboy looks closer than he has been for a little while. He's now within half a second, as there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Looks like they recovered quite quickly, so I don't think there's too much to report. Oh no, we do have a little Mikey, I think, in a bit of trouble. He's moving again, so he's joined back with his teammate. There's not a huge amount else going on the track at the minute. So Reliot playing a very good tactical game here, as Ryan decides that it's time for some fresh tyres. So let's stick on board with this, and then we'll jump on board with Nell, because I want to see if he is, as Dopey Man now comes in, so Reliot's going to stay out. So let's jump on board with Nellboy and see how hard he's going to push, because he now needs the overcut to work, as does Reliot. He's got a lot of ERS. Is he going to use them down this back straight? He is. So my assumption is we're going to see both of these two pit at the end of this lap and try and cover the other one off. So you can see that Nellboy was just keep him within an arm's length of Racing Ryan. He's got a 19.5 second gap. Don't know if that's quite enough. Don't know what the pit stop is around here. As you can see, there's some positions changing further down the field where people are pitting. So the big question is, does Nellboy come in now at the end of this lap? He's got his ERS button deployed. I think he's going to come in. He's absolutely drained the battery. He's not. He's going to go again. So he must be feeling comfortable on these tyres. What's Reliot going to do? He hasn't drained his ERS. He's still got plenty in the tank, and he looks like he's playing the long game. Is he going to come in and cover a Dopey Man off? He is going to come in and cover Dopey Man off. So let's get on board with Dopey Man. He is coming round to the end of sector 2 and just turning onto the pit sort of straight now. Reliot is not moving yet in that pit box. He's on his way out now. So this is going to be very, very, very close. You can see Dopey Man is just making his way over the line now. Reliot is making his way round the corner, so this is going to be very, very tight, but I think Dopey Man is just about going to have the overspeed. Oh, it's just... So Reliot really tried to make the overcut work there. It didn't quite happen, as I think Ryan has reeled Nellboy in a little bit. So Nellboy's not going to want to spend too much time out here now. He comes straight in. I think he's noticed that the gap is decreasing, and based on the gap that Dopey Man had, yeah, this is going to be close. But Ryan's put in a faster second sector, so his outlap has been brilliant, and I think this is his second lap actually. So yeah, he's done a cracking job, and Nellboy is moving, but I think Ryan was a bit further up than Dopey Man was earlier, so I think he's going to get this done quite easily. Did staying out one more lap hurt Nellboy here? He needs to make sure he's within a second, and I don't think he is. Looking at that, visually I didn't think he was. So he's got 7 attempts to try and get back within that DRS zone, and fortunately for Reliot, he's dropped out of the DRS of Dopey Man as well. But Dopey Man's putting some pressure on Little Mikey, and Little Mikey was really there to try and help Reliot out a little bit, but Dopey Man gets the job done quite quickly, and he is through. So Little Mikey can't help his teammate, but he's fighting back though. He's not giving up on this. As he again, like Dopey Man's had some, he's had a lot of red paint in his mirrors today, and Mikey looks like he wants to try and chuck a little fake bomb down the inside. As Reliot is now starting to close up that gap, and I can't imagine his teammate will put in too much defence on him. As Racing Ryan is really starting to push on now. As you can see, Nellboy outside of DRS is now struggling. He's nearly 3 seconds back, and really these are the closest guys on track that we're with right now. Dopey Man can't shake Little Mikey, and Reliot is just trying to grab onto Little Mikey in that DRS zone. Not quite breaking the barrier, so he is now, but I think the detection zone was too far back. Yeah, so his wing's not open, and that's not helping, because now Little Mikey's having a little dig at Dopey Man. But the more these fight, the more it's going to bring Reliot back into it. So good little three-way battle going on here, and I think, has Little Mikey pitted? He hasn't, so he's just I can't imagine he holds up Reliot. Wardy hasn't pitted yet. He's up into third, so I think he was the guy on the hard tyres actually, so I'm assuming that he will want to hang this out for a safety car if there is one. But Mikey's just made us a little mistake round there, and I can't imagine him fighting this hard. Reliot should get some DRS here. Mikey, yeah, wisely gets out of the way, gives Reliot a little bit of a tow, and gives Reliot the room to take a nice line and get after Dopey Man. So that gap has come down slightly, but without the DRS it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to try and catch him, but let's hope he can, because we've got no one within a second of anyone. So the people to watch are Wardy and Little Mikey, and if for some reason a safety car does come out, which at the minute seems highly unlikely based on the gaps we've got between the cars, if a safety car does come out, they will go in, they will get fresh rubber. They might come out a bit further down the field, but they will be on quicker tyres. But Reliot is so close to getting within this DRS zone now, as Jens Hoff picks up another penalty. He's up into 8th now. And Mikey is just clinging onto the back of his teammate. He's 5 tenths back. He's not going to tangle with him. As Jordan gets past Jens. Where was that happened? That was down into turn 1. So Jordan moves up into 8th. So Reliot with 1/10 to find. As actually we've got Hayward, who's got very close to Wardy. Didn't see that happening. So let's give Hayward a little bit of airtime. As they're going to make their way onto the back straight very shortly. As Reliot has now broken that second gap. It's just pulled out slightly, so the detection zone's coming up. But Hayward is getting ever closer to Wardy. And does Wardy want to pit? He does! Oh dear. I thought I could see that coming, because we knew Wardy was on the hard tyre, but Hayward does very well to back out of it and save himself from a problem there. Dopey Man obviously gains a position, so does Reliot, and Mikey continues. And I think Mikey will just carry on until, just hope there's a safety car. And I think it's sensible. He's not losing ground to Reliot. Reliot is now within half a second. So that's what we wanted to see, because we should hopefully see some action. We'll keep an eye on Brandon. He looks like he's closing in on Wardy, and we saw Wardy had just come in for tyres. Let's see what tyres he put on. I don't know if softs will make it. No, he's put the mediums on. I don't think the softs last too long around it. So, but Reliot is back on the gearbox of Dopey Man. Let's jump with Brandon quickly, because he has caught Wardy at a rate of knots, and it must be just because of those colder tyres. Like Wardy, once he warms them up, will get a bit quicker. But let's go back to Reliot. I'm not going to say the number out loud, but he has got some ERS in the bank. Dopey Man is using his to defend, so Reliot is going to pop on an attack at some point. So great strategy from Reliot. Now let's see if he can make this happen. Yeah, he's just popping little bits off. He again just getting his nose out there to let him know he's there. And Mikey, if he does lose this DRS, he might have to think about pitting. But right now, if he can keep in his teammates' dirty air, I think he'll be happy. Brandon is now dropping back from Wardy, because I think Wardy must have fired up those new medium tyres. So half a second the gap. They're coming round to finish the second sector. All about the exit here. Dopey Man gets a good exit, and Reliot does too. You can see Reliot is just using a little bit of his airs. As the end picks up another 3-second penalty, and Reliot is now closing in very quickly, and he is dumping that ERS to get round him. He's made the move into turn one. We've seen it once here before, but Dopey Man managed to hang it round the outside, and I think he's done the same thing again, but Reliot manages to keep his car in, but he spun on the curb. Oh, Reliot. Oh, he was in such a good position, but just got a bit giddy trying to keep hold of the position, I think. And it's relegated him back down to 7th, so got to get your head down now, Reliot. And just make the best of what was a great position. It's still a good position, so keep your head down, get back in the race. Little Mikey now has been released to try and have a go, and God, how old are his tyres? They are the 25 laps, I think. They are, so I can't imagine him being able to pressure Dopey Man here, but I mean, he's kept within a second. He's done a very good job of it. He's going to have to think about coming in at some point. I wonder if he's going to go hard soft, and now is the time he is going to come in. And Nelboy has actually managed to reel Ryan in a little bit here. I can't quite see how much ERS Ryan has. Let's have a sneaky look, shall we? Okay, interesting. Not going to say the numbers out loud in case it helps anyone watching the stream while they're racing, but Nelboy is gaining, so it's managed to get the tyres fired up, and got his head down and starting to make some inroads. And he is so close to getting that DRS zone. And just to give you a little bit of an update further down the field, It looks like Wardy started to fire up his medium tyres. He's within not quite within a second of Relliot. We did see have that little spin. Unfortunate for him. Thought he was as Nelwood puts in the fastest lap of the race. Unfortunate for Relliot because I thought he was going to nick that 4th place, but just got a bit giddy in attacking and trying to defend his position after he'd made a move. But Wardy is now within 8/10, and there is a yellow flag. Is that Jens? It's been done for corner cutting as well, so I wonder if he's just lost it and gone across the grass. Not sure. But Wardy, 3/4 of a second to find on Relliot, who might just be a little bit low on confidence after his spin on this curve here as we go around turn 3, and Relliot tries to break the toe. Wardy's not going to be close enough. And you can see Nelboy is now within that second. He's just got to keep it there for the detection zone. Let's see if he did get it. Nah, he wasn't there for the detection zone. So that allows Ryan to try and pull that gap. And I don't think he's within the detection zone for the next point either. Wardy now within half a second. It was 7/10 last time we were here. So it's ever closer, and I do think that we're probably going to see a move here before the first corner as Relliot, maybe a little late, looked like he wanted to defend the inside, but decides against it, and Wardy gets the move done. He's up into 6th. Relliot's going to be kicking himself as Cav comes into the pits. Let's now have a look at Nelboy. Can Nelboy take a little bit of glory and get his 3rd win of the season? He'll want to be careful. He won't want to move up into Division 1 or 2 if he wins again. But it has been a great competitor this year, that's for sure. It's a lovely exit, and he's closing this gap through the corner. 4/10 the gap. Ryan's light is on. So again, good news for Nelboy as Relliot is sticking to the back of Wardy, but I think Wardy's just about driving off as Cav comes in for soft tyres. I was wondering whether Mikey might have stretched it out to go on soft tyres, but obviously doesn't feel confident that they'll make it to the end. He's in 10th, he's picking up some points. So see if he can catch Tom Putty by the end. It looks like he is doing that. Nelboy is within half a second. And we've just seen that Ryan is really quick in a straight line. I don't know whether that's his ERS deployment or whether he has just got lower wings. But Nelboy's not going to make the move here, I don't think. So let's get on board with Mikey. 4.5 tenths back from Tom Putty. And Mikey, again, you can see these 2 Ferrari boys. I wonder if they've been practicing because they're very neat and tidy through the corners. As they come round to end sector 2, and you can see Mikey's just taking a lot tighter line through there. So I wonder if again Tom is just going to be quicker in a straight line as Haywood comes into pit. Interestingly, but little Mikey right up behind Tom Putty, side by side with Tom Putty, no camera angle to view it, and he's through. He's got the move done. He's up into 9th, so these tyres will be paying him back. Really interested in why there was a pit stop in there. I think it was Brandon. Was it Brandon or was it Haywood doing it? Maybe he's coming for softs and he wants the fastest lap, and I think he might be trying to hunt Dopey Man back down as Cav puts in the fastest lap of the race. Not too much faster than what Nell did on his hard tyres. And Nell is 8 tenths behind now, so I wonder if he's just having a little bit of time to one for size. Jordan now is under pressure from Wardy, and that is pushing Rayleigh up onto the back of Wardy. So as Jordan gets a little bit anxious really around there, and that has got Wardy all over him as Rayleigh picks up a 3-second time penalty, and his race is just crumbling a little bit. But you can see that Jordan's ERS light is on, but these two are really putting some pressure on him, and they could end up 3 wide here, and Rayleigh decides to wait as Jordan seems to give Wardy a nudge off the track, and that's going to allow Rayleigh through, and he's going to be on the back of Jordan. I don't think Wardy is going to appreciate that. That was a big barge off the track, so Rayleigh regains 6th. He's now got Jordan to attack, so what he could do with is getting past Jordan and then getting a little bit further down the road whilst Wardy struggles to get past him. That's going to be his ideal situation, to try and cut that penalty time out, but 3 seconds is a lot of time to make up, so he would need Jordan to, well, probably bash him off the road again. So Haywood is catching Dopey Man at the rate of knots. You can see he's done the purple second sector, and would not be one bit surprised to see a fastest lap come up as he goes over the line here. And there it is, 110.4. As Rayleigh is very close to Jordan now and makes the move down the inside. So, and Rayleigh looks like he's got a little bit of an easier job defending this one, and shouldn't make a mistake out in turn 3 this time. He doesn't. So Rayleigh's through, so he now wants Jordan to do a job on Wardy again. And Rayleigh's got to get his foot down, get down the road, and bridge a 3-second gap, all in 4 laps. But Haywood has taken a second out of Dopey Man just in this last lap since we left him. And that battle is happening just behind Haywood, so let's keep an eye on both here, but I think Haywood is going to be the first person to make a move. He's going to be right up behind as he sets another purple second sector. He's getting quicker and quicker. He's 6/10 behind. He's got a great exit. You can see that he's chewing Dopey Man's lead here, and Dopey Man's been very good out of that last exit, so you can just tell the grip difference. Haywood's going to be round him before turn 1. He's in the 109s and 109.6. What a lap. So Haywood with a great strategy. He's going to take the fastest lap point. And we're just starting to get a few more battles on track now, which is great. There's a yellow flag. Is that Jens? Oh, he's had a really tough day today. This isn't an easy track without assists, to be honest. But another tough race for him. But keep at it, Jens. It will make you a better driver. So the battle's on track. So Nellboy just dropping out of that DRS of racing Ryan right towards the end of the race. So Ryan just seems to be able to control races. Don't know how he does it. I mean, might tap him up for some tips. But I think there might be a chance that I end up in the same division as him next year. So I'm not sure he'd be willing to share. But Wardy is within half a second of Jordan. Rayleigh's managed to pull out a 1.5 seconds. He needs to do that again before the end of the race. Is it 3 seconds he's got? I think it is. Yeah. So it's 3 seconds the difference. So he needs to try and pull out another 1.5 seconds, which has dipped in a little bit now. But Wardy is now on the back of him. Jordan, Rayleigh's going to want Jordan to keep Wardy behind him as long as possible, and you can just see this part of the track is where Rayleigh is making his biggest gains. But Wardy is going to have DRS, and he looks very close to him already, and here we go, he's going to make the move at the inside. I thought he started to pull out of it, he didn't, and Jordan's managed to hang it around the outside. Good clean racing so far, and Wardy just got his nose ahead, but Jordan's going to try and keep it in there, but does back out in the end. So that has allowed Rayleigh to get down the road a little bit, but now Wardy has been released. I can't imagine he's going to make that 3 second gap. So Rayleigh's just got to look back at that gap to Jordan now and try and keep that. But Brandon has joined the party. He's now on the back of Jordan, so I think Jordan sort of backed this pack up a little bit and made this last couple of laps a little bit interesting as Jordan goes wide. He hasn't gone wide, he's gone inside randomly. I wonder if he had a bit of a snap, so just going to put Brandon on the back of him, and he's got Mikey chewing at him, so there's a lot going on here. 1 lap to go. Jordan's lights flashing. Brandon is making huge gains on him, and he's going to chuck it down the inside into turn 1. And I think it's going to be easy meet, but Jordan is trying to keep it in there, but can't. And has he been hindered on the exit, which has given Mikey a pass now? He's using that last little bit of as side by side as they get to turn 4. Give me a different camera angle, please. And Mikey does make it happen up into 8. So some good action finally. Took us to the last lap of the race. But I think that is pretty much sorted us out. So Ryan now begins the last lap of the race. He's got a 1.5 gap to Nellboy. Hayward's 25 seconds back, but he's putting in lightning times. Not going to be quick enough to break 25 seconds. Dopey Man 4 seconds back from him. Ready at 7 seconds back from Dopey Man. And then this interesting battle we've just seen is Mikey's going to try and put some pressure on Brandon through this last lap. So let's see how close he can get. And quite wisely might just try and do it over the line next time round. I don't think he's going to want to do it down this because he doesn't want to give him DRS for the final rundown, but he's going to have to keep it extremely clean through sector 2 to be there for the way out. And there might be a little battle for P10. Tom Putty's just got into the DRS zone of Skipper, but let's join on board with your Division 5 champion, who's going to come over the line, winning Brazil, as he did with the championship. Congratulations, Ryan. Signs off with a win, and congratulations to Nellboy in second, who came second in the championship. It was a brilliant championship fight from the two of you, but Ryan comes out on top. So congratulations as Hayward. He's going to finish the season strong, and Jens, unfortunately, is... Oh, that's just an unserved penalty. But Hayward is now going to come round to pick up the final podium place. Lightning at the end. And do you know what? He's got the consistency. I think he will be back next season and fighting for a championship. Dopey Man, good solid season from you as well. Comes home in 4th. And Reliot, I know you would have wanted more, but a brilliant race from you. You look solid all day and in 5th. But Wardy just pips you because of the penalties. Again, Wardy, good to see you picking up points. Well done on the finish. Brandon comes home in 7th. Little Mikey couldn't quite get there in the end. And Little Mikey, again, Little Mikey looking pretty solid today. Didn't see too much of Brandon, but again, he was divisional favourite at the start of this. But just didn't come true for him. There was, again, a couple of races earlier this season where strategy just didn't help him. But Jordan comes home in 9th. He is Constructors champion, along with his teammate Ryan. So congratulations to the McLarens. And then I think Skipper held on to take 10th. Driver of the day gets given to Little Mikey. I'm actually going to give it to his teammate Reliot for his drive today. I know he did have a spin in the middle, but that aside, just seen some huge improvement from him today, and he could have been pushing for that 4th place. Made a good recovery after the spin. Was putting pressure on Dopey Man for quite a long time, but just really enjoyed being on board with him and watching him today. So good progress from him. But just to recap, Ryan finishes off with a win. He wins the championship. It's been a dominating year from him. So well done to him. I'm sure we will see him in a higher division next year. We've got Nellboy, who finished in 2nd, picked up his first 2 wins of his DTR career. Congratulations to a very strong season from you. Jay Hayward, again, I think he missed the first couple of races this season, but has been solid. Just got himself mixed up in a couple of things earlier in the season, which just didn't help his results. But well done on your podium today. Dopey Man, again, looked like a solid contender. He ended in 4th today. He's had a good race, a good defensive race. Seemed to be defending more than attacking today, but was very good. Wardy pips 5th place. Took it off Reliot because of the 3-second penalty. It's a good race from him. He was on the alternate strategy. Reliot, my driver of the day, looked very good in qualifying. He's made some really good progress, and that stands him in good stead for next season. So, be interesting to see what happens with him next season. Brandon, bit of a disappointing season for him. Comes home in 7th here, and I'm sure he'll be back next season, fighting for the championship. Little Mikey with a really solid race today. Started the season off well with a podium. Finishes 8th here. Jordan, your constructors champion, in 9th. Skipper, great reserve here in 10th. Tom Putty 11th. Cav in 12th. And Jens struggled today in 13th. But it's been an absolutely great season. It's been a pleasure to commentate on this division. And I'm really looking forward to joining you all again next year. So new season details will be announced soon. But for now, thank you for joining DTR. And if you fancy getting into sim racing, if you want to join the F1 League, come and join us. People of all ability welcome. We've got some very quick Division 1 drivers, and we've got some people that are learning their trade down in some of the lower divisions. So come and join us. But for now, it's been a pleasure. Well done to Ryan. Well done to Jordan. And great season. Thank you, Div 5.